Now on
Meet the Drapers!
No other show in the world that allows you to invest into startups.
I think I need to reverse back on that.
Exactly why the product was failing.
3 million newborns are dying every year, mostly from preventable causes.
Naveen Jain.
My big idea could move the humanity forward. I think she has a shot at doing it.
Become an entrepreneur because it's easy to get money. And that didn't happen in Wall Street.
Welcome back to Meet the Drapers. This is our second season, and this is our second show. We're going to be talking about that big idea. We're the Drapers. I'm Tim. This is Bill, my father. He runs DRK Foundation, funding entrepreneurs going after nonprofits. This is my sister, Polly. She is a actor, director, producer, writer of several movies and TV shows. The new one, Stella's Last Weekend, which we encourage you all to go see in October. Have you ever had a big idea?
Never. My biggest idea was having a son. Turned out to be full of big ideas, so I don't have to do any anymore.
You ran for Congress.
That was a
big idea
with a very small result. What about you?
Why don't we go to Polly first? She has a lot of big ideas.
Good idea.
I think my first big idea was when I was about 11 and I wanted to go to another world.
What was in your world then?
Probably
Was
lots
that when
of
you
dogs.
had the alligator, the pet alligator?
Yeah. That wasn't my big idea. That was Papa, our grandfather, sent me an alligator in the mail, a real live alligator, and I kept him as a pet.
He was live?
Yeah, we had a, you didn't remember the alligator?
And I went on David Letterman and said I had an alligator.
I had an alligator one time.
Really?
Yeah.
And I kept him in my closet, and he said,
Hoping it would turn into shoes?
when I was younger and as an actress, my big ideas were always to be able to produce my own things. In that day and age, it was kind of more frowned upon if you were an actor to do something like this, especially if you're an actress.
My big idea
Was Meet the Drapers.
late in life. No, my big idea was Draper University,
that's what
and it came pretty late in my life. I thought there weren't enough heroes in the world, and so I wanted to create an entrepreneurial education for people to go become heroes. We have a guest today, a guest judge, who is the big idea of big ideas. He even wrote the book Moonshot. And he's been a guest on our show before, so he is actually an honorary Draper. Let me introduce to you Naveen Jain, who runs Viome.
Welcome.
So Naveen, tell us about a big idea you've had.
My big ideas are always the ones that I think someday could move the humanity forward, right? So I always believe the best way to create a $10 billion company is start thinking about what are the things, if successful, could help a billion people. What happens is a lot of the people go backward. Hey, here is the money I want to make. What can I do?
Right.
And rather than saying, where is the need? What is the people want?
Yeah, and you've done a lot of interesting things.
I think my last venture, I still think is going to be still the biggest one that I have done so far, which is fundamentally changing the trajectory of how humanity is going to live by understanding how human body works. And if you can find a way to make illness optional, you know you have a business somewhere there.
And this
right?
is Viome.
This is yeah.
Yeah, people can go out and they can check out Viome. You can go send your poop to Viome, and they will determine what you should be eating, more importantly, what you should not be eating.
Bill, in your days, people made money from bull. We make money from human.
So what are you going to be looking for in an entrepreneur here?
What are the things they're actually doing? If successful, assume they are successful, whose lives are going to be changed because of them? Anybody can make anything work, because that's the easy part.
We've got some amazing entrepreneurs today. This is going to be really fun. But before we do, let's see what's happening backstage.
Hi, my name is Jeff Tenery. I'm the founder and CEO of Moonlighting, one of the fastest growing freelance marketplaces in today's gig economy. I live in Charlottesville, Virginia, which is not the mecca of employment. When the market crashed, I was scared to death. My wife was pregnant with our 5th child, and I wanted to build something that I knew I could use if I ever lost my job to find work. And I knew that if I could use mobile technology, that I could help people find jobs anytime, anywhere around the world. We're backed by 3 publicly traded companies. We raised over $6.5 million. We built the product. Now we're just going to enhance it with blockchain and cryptocurrency. I got a chance to meet Tim a couple times at some of the Bitcoin and blockchain conferences. To actually spend one-on-one time with him and his family, that means a lot to us. We're a 4-year-old company. It was scary, but we picked the right path, and that's why we have 650,000 users on the platform now. Welcome to Moonlighting. My name's Jeff Tenery. I'm the founder and CEO of Moonlighting, one of the fastest freelance marketplaces growing in today's gig economy. Back in 2008, when the market crashed, I was deathly afraid of where I would find my next job. We're based in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's not like a mecca of a ton of employment there. And we built a mobile app that would help people find work very, very quickly. The experience looks and feels a lot like Uber, but we mixed it with a little bit more of LinkedIn and Facebook. What we have is over 650,000 people over the last 2.5 years have signed up for Moonlighting. Every type of job you can imagine. We joke, we got the fire jugglers, the stilt walkers on this side, and you've got professionals like accountants, attorneys, photographers, DJs. What we're looking to do is expand globally, and we made a decision a year ago to get into blockchain. When you have 650,000 users on your platform, you got to take care of that data. You got to make sure that it's authentic, it's real, and that's what blockchain does. This past year, we have built our own cryptocurrency, looking to do an ICO. So that's a little bit about Moonlighting, and no, I'm not Bruce Willis. I always crack that joke. It goes over some people's heads, especially depending on...
You just glossed over this. We're doing an ICO. You're trying to connect people, and you're using the blockchain to make sure that they're all legitimate. Okay, that's the blockchain. Why are people ever going to buy this coin?
There's 2 use cases. One is being able to do that to pay one another for services, to design a website, to do my taxes. The other piece of it too is we'll be able to have people use the currency so that they can buy premium services, so they can move their way up through our platform, so they get discovered faster and they are able to get hired very quickly.
But getting it started so that people accept the currency, that's a really tough job.
Yeah, but you know what? We have a jump start, Bill. It's a great question. 650,000 users that are using our platform.
How did they appear?
You know what? We're very good at social media marketing. We have partnerships with the news media companies. Not only are they investors, but they also are commercial partners. You'll find Moonlighting in the LA Times, Chicago Tribune, the USA Today, in that section where people are looking for employment.
What happens? I mean, the reason you do a gig economy is because I want to get paid and somehow, feed my family. Having a coin, unless it's tradable and I can get the fiat currency, is not going to buy me lunch.
Well, you could actually, the way it's set up, you could basically use the coin back into Ethereum and still get to fiat and do that as well.
But I'm saying, is there a good trading? Unless there is a decent amount of trading, somebody is willing to do that. It doesn't quite do
We have
much.
the velocity and the liquidity in the marketplace that's taking place right now, which again, if you think about it, there's a lot of other
Wait,
gig
that
economies.
philosophy with your own coin? Or
Not yet. No, we haven't
Okay.
done the coin yet. That's really what we're here to raise funding for. We call it the Moonbit. It's built. We haven't launched it.
But this seems to be tail wagging the dog. I mean, you're saying is, I want to create a cryptocurrency, so what can I do? As opposed to, I have a problem that needs solving. I mean, crypto is one way of doing it, as opposed to saying, here is the business, here is the problem I'm trying to solve, here are the 10 different ways of doing it, and I selected this.
I think I need to reverse back on there, maybe a little bit of the nerves of being on there, but we've been around for 4 years and we have created a business. We've had over $49 million that has been transacted on the platform.
And how much do you get out of that?
We changed that model up dramatically, again, with understanding our customers. People typically leave gig economies if you're taking too much your paycheck, so anywhere from 20 to 30%. So our revenues, we've done a little under $1 million.
Over that 4 years?
Yes, correct. Over the last 18 months, we've done about $750,000.
And somehow, do you think that your token is now going to enhance your existing business? Or are you just using it as a way to raise money?
No, actually, we're doing a security token, by the way, much different than the utility token, which you...
Well, it costs a lot more in legal fees.
Well, we talked about that, I think, a few months ago, absolutely. Blockchain is really the solution for that much data on the platform, being able to make it secure, and also let people use that data where they choose to use it. People could take this Moonlighting profile that's very similar to LinkedIn, being able to use it whatever platform they choose to use it on.
Wait a minute, LinkedIn is where a bunch of individuals get to know each other.
That's how our platform is a mixture of basically LinkedIn meets Venmo. When we started the company back in 2014, our goal was to disrupt LinkedIn. It felt like LinkedIn wasn't it was connecting people, but people weren't really hiring one another.
But Moonlighting isn't connecting people.
Oh, absolutely. 650,000 people come to our platform, and that's connecting. That's people using it for buying and selling
jobs.
services. Yeah.
It's like Craigslist.
We were called Craigslist without the creepiness back in the early days.
Why are you doing this? Why do you care?
Why do I care? I care because I'm a father of 5, and in 2008, I was scared out of my mind. My wife was pregnant with our 5th child, and I was afraid I was going to lose my job. So Moonlighting, we started the company by literally moonlighting on the side, and we wanted to make sure that I had something that I could use. I was in Charlottesville. I couldn't afford to move back to big cities. So we wanted to build something that was ubiquitous, worked anywhere. We've done that very successfully for the last 3.5 years, and again, not using cryptocurrency as just a way to circumvent and raise money. We're doing it for the right reasons, for blockchain, and to be able to take this international.
Well, terrific. Well, thank you for coming in to meet the Drapers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
terrific.
it. You got it. Thank you so much.
Great
You
to
got
talk
it.
to you.
I jumped a little too quickly into probably blockchain and cryptocurrency because I'm so excited about it. I think they felt like I was doing the token sale and working in blockchain for the wrong reasons, which is not the case. I think investors are looking for things that they can trust. And not only is blockchain about trust, but it's about companies you can trust and people you can trust. All of that comes together really nice with Moonlight, and I hope that did resonate with the Drapers. Our goal is to generate $100 million by 2021 and being able to share that revenue with our users and customers. We have 650,000 now. We're calling to get to 6 million over the next 3 years. I'm inviting you at home to invest in Moonlighting, to be a part of the biggest revolution in employment over the last 20 years.
So let's see what our judges think about Moonlighting, and know that it's not all up to the judges here, because you can invest in these companies. We are the only show in the world that allows you to back a startup from your living room, and you do it just by going to meetthedrapers.com. But first, let's find out from our guest judge. Naveen, is Moonlighting a moonshot?
It's definitely not a moonshot, but it's a good idea. This is the old idea of classifieds. It's really purely an execution play at this point.
There
really
must
an
be
execution.
a lot of competition in this.
For Yellow Pages? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. In fact, you ran a company
sure
that
did.
competed this way.
Way back when.
He seemed like he was operating from a position of fear rather than a passion. You know, like, I don't want to, my job, my life is, I better do this. Instead of, this is kind of a dream of mine that.
That's funny. I was thinking the exact same thing on fear. I felt like came at it from the position that I felt like I had to do it because I might lose my job. So I was thinking the business itself, there's some potential there. The ICO that he's doing for a new token, I thought he's just trying to raise money. I mean, why not just use Bitcoin? Anyway, so I think what we'll do is we'll go to the crystal ball. Okay? Okay, so we start doing this, Naveen. We just sort of feel the power of the crystal ball. You got the vibe? Okay. So, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs all around.
Half measures we can do? Because I didn't know the rules there. I might have done a half measure.
No rules.
We're the Drapers.
Hi, I'm Neopenda. I'm the founder of Test. What Test does is it tests the quality of vitamins and supplements. I have a 16-month-old son, Kai. We've already started looking at vitamin D supplements for him. When you go into the store, there's hundreds of options. You can't read hundreds of labels and see those thousands of ingredients and actually have a sense of what product should I buy. Being able to have a company that does all this work for you, now you can be much more safe and secure knowing that you're making the right choice. I'm really excited to be here. I've seen a lot of TV shows like this. It's always so easy to kind of sit on the couch and judge or critique the founder who's out there. Being able to do that myself and be able to step into that position and play the game was really exciting. For Kai and for the millions of other kids, for every single person, we want to make sure that we do as much testing as possible. We bring as much transparency and trust into a market that really needs it.
How many of you take vitamins or supplements?
We're all like the majority of Americans who are taking 3, 4, 5 supplements or more a day. The crazy thing is, even though there's over $36 billion per year sold in the US, the FDA does not actually review the safety or effectiveness of those products before they're sold. And so that means that your probiotic or your fish oil or your protein powder isn't actually analyzed or tested prior to you consuming it. And that's why I created my first startup, Labdoor. We've tested over 1,000 supplements. We've found gummy vitamins that have had yeast and mold in them. We've found fish oil that was rancid on shelves. There's over 30,000 new products like this that are created each year. And for any one organization to be able to test that, we're gonna have to bring in many more labs and recruit many more companies to work with us to sponsor the cost of this testing. So we looked at a token-curated registry model using a token called TEST to actually incentivize that work. The way TEST works is that companies will pay a fee in tokens to apply to the registry. Laboratories or other challengers could actually challenge the quality of that product by staking their own tokens down. And whoever won that challenge would keep the tokens, right? And that really incentivizes the companies to play ball the right way. It incentivizes the right companies to come in and work with the system. It penalizes companies that are cheating on the system. And then what we end up being able to do is really be able to reward the companies that have the best products, call them test certified. And so that's why we're raising $1 million through crowdfunding, so we can have as many people as possible making that decision on which products should be tested.
Is the $1 million to buy tokens, or is the $1 million to invest in your company?
So it's to buy tokens.
So you have gamified the stamp of approval. What if they decide not to play your game?
Right, so there's a few things that we're going to do. One, we're going to keep a lot of the tokens where we can basically pay for independent testing. Really, we think of the labs as like the miners in the situation. They're doing this very valuable work to secure the network. And so we can actually pay them out of our own tokens to do that if we see that companies aren't being challenged. And so one of the things we'll do is we'll let token holders actually vote on which product should be independently tested in this way.
Why aren't you dealing with dollars? Why are you dealing with tokens?
There's a major pricing power difference. So the value of the certification itself would fluctuate based on the demand for the token. There's a number of different token-curated registries like AdChain and Masari that have used the system. What ends up happening with something like a credit rating agency, for example, is you're incentivized to take as much business as possible because you get the same price for every certification. And so over time, you dilute the quality of your registry, right? And so in this case, by actually tying it to the value of the tokens, you actually have to continuously increase the value of that registry. Otherwise, the value of the tokens goes down.
You're not doing your own testing. So you're literally just simply a marketplace for the testing labs and the product company and someone who says, I want to challenge this company because I don't believe they're good.
Yeah, I think it's really important to decentralize the connection between the people who are paying for the testing and the people who are performing the testing.
Is there a reason for an individual to want to buy a token? Do I want to buy a token for any reason?
You don't necessarily have to, right?
Maybe in aggregate, we can buy enough tokens to challenge.
Yeah, so this is one way we could crowdfund the testing of the products too. So people could actually put down deposits saying, if we get enough money, we'll actually go out and test this product. Another great part of it is the average consumer would not need to own any tokens for this to work, right? They would just be able to go to the store and see that this product's been tested, and that's it. We'll want to be working with this system to where there might be thousands of people who are in the challenging process, but there'll really be millions of people who could benefit from the service. And it's one big way for blockchain technology to impact millions of people without them necessarily having to hold the token.
How do you know how many tokens to charge? If you're doing a multivitamins that have 500 different vitamins and minerals.
The most classic testing would be purity testing. So those are very standardized tests. So you'll be testing the same way every time. So every product would have the same cost. And so multivitamins are actually one of the hardest things for us to test. We've still tested close to 100 products. It just was much more expensive. It was many thousands of dollars instead of $1,000 or $2,000 for a simple product. So California, cannabis became legal, and there's now testing that's required. So companies actually don't have a choice anymore in that industry. They're going to be required to do the testing anyways. And so if they pick test instead of one of the private labs, they not only get the benefit of the testing being done for the regulation, but they actually get a public marketing benefit out of that as well.
Why do you care? And what's the big vision here?
Yeah, so I'm a chemist. My first business, we built a testing lab. Our specialty was recall analysis. So when a product was about to fail, they would come to us and we would figure out exactly why the product was failing. I saw hundreds of different products from the cosmetics or supplements that could have very easily made thousands of people sick. And we were using an emergency room style system. We were waiting for the product to get sick, and then we tried to fix the problem. And I said, look, the entire industry should work the opposite way. There
should be an independent organization that tests all of these products at the beginning. And if we knew from the very beginning whether these products were good or bad, then consumers were not driving the decision. These are important health products. It's the right thing to do, and the FDA is missing a lot of these products. Consumers really need an advocate for them, and we really seek to do that.
How long have you been in business?
So we've been working on this for 5 years.
At this point, what is your revenue?
So Labdora's revenue was just over $1 million last year.
Labora,
Yeah.
but that's different from Test.
So Test, yeah, so our token hasn't launched yet, so there's
I
no
see.
revenue from the token.
And does the company own the token?
So the company owns 30% of the token.
And the other 70% go to new investors?
New investors and to
new
brands.
buyers of tokens.
And we'd be able to build our incentives through that too.
Terrific.
Very good.
Sounds good.
Thank you for coming to meet the Drapers.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Great.
I think I just got really excited out there, so it was just a lot of fun. It went a lot faster than I thought. I wish I could have explained our token earlier. I think as soon as we got through that point, the rest really went a lot easier. We definitely saw some excitement from at least 2 of the judges. Tim Draper would be the most interested in being able to invest. Once we were able to explain why our token is important, I could really see his eyes perk up. I was really excited to be able to have an audience of all of these great viewers. If you take these products, if you felt this problem personally, join our campaign on Republic. Help make us test every product in the world. So all those viewers out there, give a thumbs up for Test.
Well, let's see what the judges think of Test. But just know that you, the viewer, have the opportunity to buy some of these tokens, and you do it just by going to meetthedrapers.com. So what do you think, guest judge?
Well, I like the guy. I really felt that he has a good energy, had a good passion, at least he had thought through the problems. So personally, I like him as an entrepreneur. Business model makes a lot of sense. I mean, someone needs to do it. So I feel good. I mean, I really think there's a market here, and I really think he has a shot at doing it. We forgot to ask him about his team. This needs to have a great team.
How about you, Polly?
Well, he had me at moldy gummy bears.
The one that you
I
had
was
last
just
night.
like, oh my God, I want all my vitamins tested. I like the theory, which is that you don't want a lab that's got a vested interest. But on the other hand, do you know what the lab
Do you really think it's needed?
I
This?
definitely think it's needed.
Even if you test the product once, it is every batch that really, most of the
That's
problem
true,
happens
too.
is not in the product itself. During assembly line, they get something moldy coming in or there's something poison coming in. right?
Because then once they got their stamp
Yeah.
of approval, they could quality
Yep.
control down.
That's a good
I
one.
like the idea that if you're selling fish oil and I'm selling fish oil, I'm going to spend the
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
$10,000 a month to make sure his gets tested.
Every month.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the crystal ball.
All right.
And let's just see, let's test the crystal ball. And so everybody have a vibe? Okay, you guys can play along at home. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs all around. One up, one down, 2 sideways. This is a
about even.
winner. So this season, since I'm so passionate about Bitcoin, blockchain, and the ICO market, we are going to have a little chat about ICOs in each episode. I'm here with Amit Pradham, president of the Silicon Valley Blockchain Society, and it is so great to have you here on the show at Meet the Drapers.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here. It's awesome to meet you.
So what is the Blockchain Society?
We're really focused on 3 words: fund the revolution. We run in many ways like a traditional investment fund.
I see.
Do a lot of due diligence on the companies that we're bringing in front of our investors.
Oh,
And
I
so-
see. So you put together the entrepreneur and the investor.
Correct. We're trying to bring the community.
So you're bringing together the token with the buyer.
Correct. Yeah.
Somebody comes to you and they say, hey, I want to do a new coin. What do you look for?
We are obviously looking at the team, and this is a big part of what traditional capital has always done. We're looking to see if decentralization of what they're trying to do makes absolute sense. If it does tokenization and creating a currency on top of it need to be done? versus using an existing currency, whether fiat or otherwise. And then we actually look at whether it's a foundational layer, so people are going to build on top of it, whether it's bringing a big existing business into the tokenized world, or whether it moves this ecosystem forward.
Here's what I usually ask those entrepreneurs. Is there any market for that ICO after that? Is there a reason for people to buy that token?
When I think of my 70-year-old mom using any of this in India, that's the benchmark.
Does she have a Bitcoin wallet?
She does, yeah.
So she understands that this is money.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a lot of people who've come in with the exuberance of what's happening in the space. And because regulations, both at a company level as well as at a personal level, haven't exactly been super obvious, and they haven't been published super obviously or clear.
It's like this big dark cloud that hangs over the innovation center of the world. Japan's getting a big lead here.
Absolutely.
Because they're just opening it up. They said Bitcoin's a national currency, and here's how you do an ICO.
Set up the infrastructure, set up the process.
Fill out 3 forms and you're there.
Yeah, they're the only ones winning this, in this ecosystem, right?
This is amazing what's happening to the world, and it's just, people are just starting to wake up to it. Some people don't even have a Bitcoin wallet yet, but your mother.
70-year-old mom does.
Your mother does, and I like that. I like your mother. We're gonna have to meet your mother. We'll get her on the show.
She would be an interesting person to get on because she would show up with a couple of delicious dishes.
Oh, good. By the way, Indian food is so much better in India. It's like an explosion that just goes across your taste buds. So I do want your mother to come on the show and cook us something. Well, great. It's been great to have you on the show, Amit.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, I can't say that I've been on a TV show before. Hi, I'm Sona, and I'm CEO of Neopenda. We're a medical device startup for high-growth emerging markets. Right after my undergraduate degree, went back to graduate school where I met my now co-founder. We had a unique opportunity to travel out to Uganda. We spent a lot of time in newborn wards and found that there were just so many critically ill newborns and really not enough nurses to help care for them. We thought, why not use our engineering backgrounds to try to help create a solution for a problem like this? A lot of the tech scene is here, and so I seem to be coming out to the Bay Area every month, every couple months or so. All of the Drapers have really interesting backgrounds. I'm excited to be able to show the latest version of our model. The more feedback we can get, the better off the product and solution will be.
Before we continue, we'd like to do something special. We are going to go back across the street to Draper University. We showed the Draper University students one of the pitches, and we're going to see what they think.
Hi, I'm Courtney.
I'm Fatih.
I'm Kevin.
So do you guys think there's an art to pitching?
I think definitely the biggest thing about pitching is making sure you communicate your ideas clearly and just keeping it as simple as possible.
It should include all of the necessary parts. The problem, the solution, and the competition, team, and the business model too.
I think it's really important that an entrepreneur can share their story and their vision, because that drives their company, and their why needs to come out most importantly in a pitch, so that the investors can see their motivation behind it.
Well, hi, I'm Sona, and I'm CEO of Neopenda. Now, if you've been inside a hospital ward here in the US, I'm sure you've seen a room full of medical equipment. Well, that image isn't quite the same in places like Uganda. It's not hard to imagine why 3 million newborns are dying every year in low-resource settings, mostly from preventable causes. We've developed a patent-pending wearable vital signs monitor that continuously measures 4 crucial vital signs all in this small wearable device. The vital signs from multiple newborns wirelessly connect to a single tablet where a nurse is immediately alerted of any newborns in distress. And for just $2,500, we're selling in packages of 15 wearables and 1 tablet to 2 different customer segments, hospitals and aid agencies. And it's not just neonatal patients that need this, it's pediatric population, surgical applications. And as we continue to build a pipeline of complementary products, we're really entering as a trailblazer in the $4.9 billion medical device market in just Africa. We've iteratively designed our first product with over 150 users across 30 hospitals in Uganda. So to keep all this momentum going, we invite you to join our open $750,000 round so that together we can create medical solutions for where they're needed most.
So tell me about the 4 patches and why this is new. I mean, babies get these 4 patches all the time.
4 patches?
So there's 4 vital signs that we're measuring. We're measuring pulse rate, respiratory rate, blood oxygen saturation, and temperature, and all of that is in this wearable device.
Oh, it's only one device.
So it's one device that measures these 4 vital signs, and you're absolutely correct. Here in the U.S., every baby in a NICU type setting is hooked up to thousands of dollars worth of monitoring equipment. But when you take that equipment out, even if you donate it, it fails because it doesn't meet the design constraints.
Did you say it's $2,500 per device?
I think so.
That seems a little bit expensive for like emerging countries.
I thought I heard you say it's on 150 babies in Uganda now.
No, so it's not on 150 babies. We've collected feedback from 150 nurses. So we've taken our iterative prototypes out to Uganda. We've collected feedback, involved them really in every step of the process.
So how many babies?
No, they haven't put it on a baby yet.
Right.
What I would really like to know is the background of the team. She says she's an engineer, right? I want to know if there's anyone on the team that has like a medical background at least.
We have done bench testing, of course, to validate the accuracy, and we're going into the first phase of accuracy studies in Uganda. But ultimately, when it is commercialized, it can be used on, we estimate, 50 babies a year.
Can you give us a little back on yourself and your team?
My background is chemical engineering, and then I did my master's in biomedical engineering. I met my co-founder and CTO at Columbia University. We're both pursuing our masters, and we had a unique opportunity.
You're still at Columbia?
Nope, I graduated 2 years ago, and now we're working full-time on Neopenda.
And why are you doing this?
That's a great question. I think
passion.
there's an untapped opportunity to go into emerging markets. After my undergrad, I spent some time in Western Kenya and just fell in love with the culture and community, but saw a lot of inequities that existed there. I came back to the U.S. and worked in pharma for 2 years and loved the engineering and healthcare, but realized that my kids in Kenya would never see the medicines I was helping make.
Sort of interesting that you can do all that in that one little headpiece where we have all this huge equipment in America. Is it really doing the same thing?
Here in the U.S., we have many more bells and whistles. We've intentionally pared it down to the essentials for what these environments look like.
What does that cost to make, and then how much do you sell it for?
So we're selling in packages of 15 of these wearables and 1 tablet, so everything is self-contained within the system, at a price point of $2,500 US, and we're operating at profit margins of over 60%.
And what's the market for just neonatal devices? How big is that in Africa and India and Southeast Asia? How big is that?
Yeah, so the unique thing about a vital signs monitor is that it's not just for neonatal patients. We can readily adapt it for pediatric, surgical, community health workers. We estimate that medical device market to be $715 million just for the vital signs monitor.
I think it's excellent that you're doing this in Africa. I think it's important to cover Africa before you worry too much about the rest of them.
Yeah, when I was in Africa, they told me that there are 1 billion people in Africa today. In 50 years, going to be 4 billion people in Africa. A lot of babies are going to be born in Africa.
I feel bad that she has to hold this baby the entire time she's giving the pitch and getting grilled by these judges.
Be careful of that baby. You're
I should carry her more carefully.
one-handed.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
coming to
much.
meet the Drapers.
I appreciate your time.
Great.
Good.
Thank you.
It was really fun to be able to chat with all of the Drapers. The questions that they were asking were really interesting and intriguing for the business. What we could take away for next time is really focusing on the markets that we're entering in and being very clear that this isn't a product for the US because it's not necessary here. Bill Draper in particular, I think he has a lot of expertise in this area and really understood the potential market and opportunity for what we're doing. So the time is now to really combine social impact and sustainable financial returns. We invite you to join us in our open round and encourage you to ask us any questions.
So now it's up to the judges. But before we go to the judges, we have a special group of guests today. They all are students from Draper University of Heroes. They've got some comments, and we want to ask them what they thought.
I really wish we would have seen what she wanted to do with that $750,000, how that's going to help her company explode and become the next big unicorn and take over Uganda.
I'd like to know more about the team. Is there anyone with a medical background?
She should give the device to the Drapers.
And also if they have any advisors that are advising their team as well, that would be really important to know.
I would invest. Passion is there, and also it's a really, really big market. Great opportunity.
And I think that there's a great exit strategy. They're already in talks with and have the eye on the prize, so I definitely would invest.
I am not sure, but probably I wouldn't invest. I need to see the product while it's working. Like after seeing the device is working properly and really good, after that I can invest.
I think being a VC is really exciting because you get to see all these technologies before they happen, right? You're at the forefront of all these emerging tech. I mean, blockchain, VR, and all that now.
Especially with these mission-based causes where they're going, and this is going to save people's life, and to be a part of that is a pretty amazing place to be. So I definitely think that's a perk of being a venture capitalist.
Things looks a bit different than being the other side. Like in here, I can see the missing parts and the good parts better.
It's definitely a lot easier side of the table than the entrepreneur. You kind of get to sit back a little bit.
Thanks, guys. Now let's see what our judges had to say that day. What'd you think, Sonny?
I think it's a great cause, what she's trying to do. My only issue would be is how you make this expand and grow into Uganda and these countries where it's hard to really get traction. But I love the idea and vision of how she's trying to help people. I think there's a lot of need there. It's how you take it to market in these countries where there's a lot of pain that could come in the long run.
And it seemed like it was a little plastic thing. It looked like it would be easy to ship, easy to use, easy to, and so hugely helpful.
I'm a little suspicious that it may not solve all these problems, but even if it isn't quite perfectly accurate, it probably would be a good thing.
Better than having nothing.
Yep, I agree with that.
Nothing. So I think the product is what you are all focused on, and I'm focused on her. I didn't feel like she was the kind of person who's willing to break down walls to make something happen. I did believe that the product was interesting. I'm always looking for that thing, that little X factor that's gonna drive somebody to do this for their life. I don't feel that here. So we feel the crystal ball. And do we have it?
And if anybody took us seriously when the show began,
they don't anymore.
No.
And I feel it. Everybody in TV land, you ready? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs all around. Oh, 2 up, 2 down. That's usually a good sign. You've heard from us. Now you guys get to decide on your own. You get to be the judge. You just go to meetthedrapers.com and you're a shareholder. And now back to today's episode. It's been great here on this show. We've had a great day. So I've seen a lot of interesting companies.
So what's the story with the poop test? I am curious, because did you say this on the air about you taking it and finding out that spinach is bad for you?
Well, yeah, but more than that,
almonds?
really the skin conditions are actually depends a lot on your gut. So you can see the acne, the eczema, the psoriasis, and the dry skin. And when people actually eat the right nutrients and right food, we have had our customers tell us the acne completely disappears, the skin starts to glow.
So we are all just a function of our gut. And all of this, by the way, the whole show is on gut feel.
But remember the mom said, do the gut check, listen to your gut. What were they talking about?
Wow.
Bill is thinking, I want my poop.
He's like, why did I flush it down?
I'm smart enough not to do that.
I'm smart enough not to enter this whole conversation.
Polly, now that you've been through all of this a couple of days, what is it that grabs you about some of the entrepreneurs and doesn't grab you about other entrepreneurs?
Generally speaking, it's their passion and also their communication skills affect me because of my performance background, that I feel like the ones that feel like they're really actively engaged in talking to me.
Good. Well, I mean, eventually we're going to also have Jesse Draper back, but thank you, and thank
She
you.
had to have
and
a
thank
baby.
you.
She had to
This
leave.
was really fun.
Thank you.
It was.
Great. And we'll see you next week on
Meet the Drapers!
When Satoshi Nakamoto made a token perfecto, no friction, cross borders, decentralized. The world he did join.
He brought us together.
We're sharing Bitcoin, Bitcoin. No quarter and harmonize.
Connecting the world with pervasive money. He opened our minds, made the banks look funny. He kept his head down, he stayed in the dark. Way dark. Never know if it was planned or a lark. But the world past Satoshi forever changed. Whether his origin block is lost or unclaimed. It's still unclaimed. World's right bankers shock bureaucrats too. Governments don't know what to do. Live long in blockchain. We want a new world.
We want to play across the board. I just want to be a holder of my Bitcoin hustle.
Live long in blockchain.